what are the Yankees getting if and when they officially complete this deal for Joey Gallo?
Well, they're getting a left-handed power hitter who should play well at Yankee Stadium with the short right field porch. The Yankees, one of the weaknesses of the way they've been built is that they're really too right-handed. So it makes it easier for another team to match up hard-throwing right-handed relievers. Now, you're going to have some potholes in there. You could put Joey Gallo between Judge and Stanton, or Judge and Sanchez, and then you've got Rougned Odor, who's played well as well. So those are two lefty bats that could hit home runs, and it'll make a manager think about going to a right-handed reliever because, with the rule that you have to face three batters in a row, you do have that pothole for a manager to consider now, and the Yankees have been too right-handed, so that solves that.
Hey, Mike, what went into the decision to decide to double down? Was it because they beat the Rays the last couple of days, or is it just that they're the Yankees and they can't see themselves selling off assets? They believe in the baby bombers still.
Well, Bart, I think it comes down to this. Although they lost 3 out of 4 in Boston, they're still very much in the wild card. They're within striking distance of the A's, and the Mariners are there as well. These are teams the Yankees think that they could be better than, and really in 61 games you could make up a game or two in the wild card. Now, it's going to be a long shot to end up catching the Boston Red Sox, but I never thought for a second they were going to sell. First of all, they don't have that many sellable parts. They have good players in the minor leagues. Obviously, they're giving up 4 of them in this deal for Gallo. But on the major league front, they've got a lot of guys making a lot of money that are having subpar years. So it would not have really been easy to sell. And if you think about it, the Yankees have only sold once in the last couple of decades, and that was when they traded Andrew Miller and Aroldis Chapman. And they ended up being a contending team after those trades anyway. I never thought they were going to trade because I just never thought that they were going to be in a situation that they were going to bag it. They're too close. The wild card is making the playoffs, and if they make the wild card and it's a one-game wild card and you've got Garrett Cole going for you, you got to like your chances.
Mike, I always hear you all the time because you're my baseball horse whisperer. You always talk about playing to the back of the baseball card, but yesterday I was listening to your show, and you were speaking about Giancarlo Stanton playing in the outfield, how he was a plus defender back out in his days with the Mariners, the Marlins, right?
Marlins. Yep.
So at this point, at what point do you anticipate them trying to get more value out of Giancarlo Stanton because he is a former MVP? Is it just more about the guys that they have playing better?
No, it's about the fact they have not been able to get him on the field, and believe me, Bart, I have no idea why. He's obviously a healthy professional athlete. He's in tremendous shape, and we keep hearing them say we're getting him ready to play the outfield. It's almost like you're getting him ready to storm the beaches of Normandy. He's playing left field, but now by the acquisition of Gallo, I don't even know if they have to play that game anymore. Now Giancarlo Stanton, for the most part, just DH and hit. And, he's really struggled since the All-Star break. He did get a big hit yesterday, almost took off a pitcher's head with a line drive back through the middle. But he has looked lost at the plate. It's just weird that a guy who used to be a plus defender in Miami and won an MVP has been simply unable to be in the outfield, because that really hamstrings the Yankees a lot. Because if you have one guy locked into the DH, all of a sudden, if you want to give Aaron Judge a half a day off just as the DH, one of them has to sit. It would really help Aaron Boone a lot if they could get him ready to play the outfield. I just don't understand what the problem is, why it's been such a long trek and a long journey to get him ready.
Michael K., this is Sam Macho. What's the next move that this team should make? What move do the Yankees need to make now?
Well, Sam, I think they still have interest in Trevor Story. That would improve their defense a little bit. What would happen then is if they got a shortstop, then they could play Trevor Story at short, and they could move Gleyber Torres over to second, where a lot of people think he's a better defender. I don't think he's as bad a defender as people make him out to be at shortstop anyway. Another way they could go is they can also go and maybe get a left-handed first baseman. Although right now, the way things stand, it looks like DJ LeMahieu is going to have a lot of his time at first base. I still think there's another move there, Sam, maybe even a pitcher. But the bottom line is they needed that one big lefty bat, and they got him in Gallo. Maybe they'll be searching for a left-handed hitting center fielder. that could make things different as well. But, the one key about this trade that they made is that they gave up 4 pretty good prospects, and the Rangers, from what I hear, are going to pick up most of the remaining part of Gallo's salary. So the Yankees are, intent on staying below the $210 million threshold. And I think they have about $4 million to play with. So if they can make a deal with another team, give them good prospects, and have that team pay the money, that means they can make an acquisition and still stay under the threshold.
Michael, you may have just answered my question, but I have to ask it. Look, I'm a delusional Philadelphia fan, and so I can understand how Yankees fans feel. Like when they make an acquisition like Joey Gallo, they think, what's next? What's next? Could we get something even bigger? Now we're all in. Now we're going for the playoffs. Now we're going for this. Now we could win the World Series. So I have to ask you, you mentioned how they might want to stay under that $200 million threshold, but is there any way that you see this team making a push for the biggest trade option, I think, out there right now, Max Scherzer?
Well, I think they've investigated it, and from everything I've heard, Scherzer has made it clear through back channels that he would not play for the Yankees, nor would he play for the Mets. It looks like he wants to go to the West Coast, one of the 3 teams in the National League West. So I'm sure the Yankees were very, very interested. That's a big-time pitcher that you could team up with Garrett Cole, and then you have a 1-2 going into the playoffs that's as good as any 1-2 in all of baseball. But it doesn't look like he wants to make that move to New York. But the bottom line is they are still big game hunting. That's what Brian Cashman does. And they've got a big-time minor league system that interests a lot of people. And the best part about the Gallo deal, guys, is that what they did was they gave up 4 really good prospects, but they didn't give up any of their top 13 prospects. So if they wanted to give up one of their top 13 prospects or 2 of them, then they could even get a bigger player. And maybe that's where they're playing in the pool with Trevor Story or maybe somebody else out there. Because I think what the Yankees would like to do is make another trade that improves them now and also the players around for next year. That's why Gallo was so expensive, because you get him this year and he doesn't become a free agent until after 2022. So you improve now and you also improve next year as well.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.